Hello guys, so I'm gonna show you my team build and what they have equipped on the Pictos and everything. So this is a little bit spoilery because uh, you will get flying unlocked only after some point at the story. I'm not gonna mention which point. So I'm gonna try it on this boss, the overworld boss. So before I go bump into him, I'm gonna show you the builds. So let's start with CL. So CL has equipped Victors with anti-stun cheater, which is like lets you play twice in a row, and then auto death, which is like she dies at the start of the battle. So this equip Victors doesn't matter. I mostly choose for the Lumina points. If it's higher than what I have, I'll put them on the equipped Victors, and mostly for the stats they have. It has this one has 81% critical rate out of nowhere. So CL has 126% critical rate, and she has 10k attack power. She has not a lot of defense, but it's fine because she's not gonna be up much longer because Mayal will one shot everything after. And if you go to passive Victors, so CL dies at the start of the battle, which is auto death, which is equipped. So when she dies, she applies burns on all the enemies, fully charge the enemy's break bar, and then she applies 4 AP to all allies, and then she applies 3 sealed to all allies, and then she gives cell to all the allies. So after she did all this, she also gets back up with the second chance Pictos, which like gets you back up 100% HP. So once she's back up, she has first strike, which lets her play first. It doesn't matter if you bump into the enemy or you started the first strike on the enemy, she will always get the first strike before the enemies. And then we have all the other Pictos like more damage from the parries, more critical damage, more break damage, all the generic boosting like damage boosting Pictos, auto powerful, and all the stuffs. I can show you the passive luminous like this. You can pause and look at what passives, what Pictos I have equipped. I'll scroll like this. So now let's go to her skill. Okay, let's move to Mael. So Mael has this one equipped on her equipped as Pictos. First offensive deals more damage before, like if you get hit or if you do damage first, you will do 50% more damage. And then you have roulette, which is like you have 50% chance to deal either 50% or 200%. So this one is the kind of gamble because you have to pray that you get the second one, like the 200% damage. So and then you have this is basically just for the stats, like more crit rate, health and defense and speed, which is like she also has 126 speed, same as CL, but her attack power is low. I was working on that, but she's max level anyway now. And then if we go to the passive, we got all this damage boosting attacks, damage boosting Pictos, which is like offensive Pictos. So you got auto powerful, auto regen, which is like a HP regen on the start. But it doesn't matter because we'll get all the buffs from seal, like the shield and shell. And have cheater, which lets her play twice. She also has second chance. If she dies, she gets back up. So we have teamwork, 10% increased damage when all of them are alive. We have warming up. This one is like if you're up in the field long. And then you have painted power. This one is it's like you will only get this one after some point of the story. I'm not gonna explain which point because it will be spoiler if there are people that's watching before the certain point, not in the end game. So this one lets you uncap your damage. So when you get this, there's no limit on how much damage you do. So that's what ends up one-shotting enemies. So we have Immaculate, again 30% increased damage until a hit is received. We're not gonna get hit because she will play immediately after CL. And then we have full strength, 25% increased damage on full health. So let's calculate all this. Before that, also you have weapon, just medallum. We all know this is like a bursting slot. You get this weapon if you decide to duel the CL fight on the Gestal village. If you decide to do it with Mael on the CL duel, you will get this weapon as a reward, which lets you start in Virtuous Stance. So Virtuous Stance basically lets you do 200% more damage. And from CL, she has this spell. I'll give it to Mael, which is like double damage for the targeted ally on the next turn. And then you have intervention, which lets you play, which lets you your targeted ally play immediately and gives for AP. I don't use the other ones most of the time because she's mostly buffing. So these are all basically damage. And then this one is if I'm up for a little bit more than I had to, I'll use this on allies. So now let's calculate. We have 200% from Virtuous Stance. We have double damage from CL, which is 400% more. And then if we go to Pictos, for the equipped Pictos, we have 50% more damage on first hit. So that is 450 so far. I'm not gonna calculate this, but I'm not gonna calculate this as 50%. I'm gonna calculate it as 200% because we want this to land on 200%. So we have to pray for that. So first 200% Virtuous Stance, double damage from CL, which is 200%, and this one with 200%, which is 600 now. Now we have this one 50% more damage on first skill, 650%, and we still have more. So let's go through them. We have full strength, which is 225% increased damage on full health, which she will be. So that's 650%, now 25%, 675%. And then now we got powerful damage increase. So we have powerful on cell. When she gets a set, she gets powerful. And we have 50% increased damage on powerful. So that is 680, 690%, 690% now. And then we have Immaculate, which is 30% increased damage until a hit is sealed, which will happen because he will play immediately after seal. So that is 720% now. And then we have Teamwork, which is 10% increased damage when all allies are alive. So now 730%. So roughly around 800% damage when she gets to play. That is insane with all these Pictos. Lune, she has almost the same as Mael too, but she won't get the buffs from CL. That's the only problem. But she will still can stay on her own feet with all these Pictos. So she has again all the most of the Pictos that Mael has. I'll scroll on this so you can pause and look at all the thing. She also has second chance and cheater, so everyone pretty much has second chance and cheater, which lets you play twice, and if you die you get do it again. I'm gonna scroll on Lune, and then I'm gonna scroll on Mael. You can pause and look at the Pictos, and then I'm gonna scroll on CL. So now that I explained CL's skill, I'll show you Mael's skill. So Mael, for me, I'll mostly use this side and Swift side. So this one's $10. It does extreme single target void damage, one hit. So this is the one thing I'll be using if it's just one enemy, one boss. So after all the buffs and what do you call 600, 700 to 800% more increased damage, this one mostly ends up one-shotting. When you use this, you already start with sealed because of CL. This one removes the shield and converts that and applies defenseless. So now we have stand already. Phantom strike if there are multiple enemies. That's what I use. So now we have stand all. I'll show you Lune. I mean the enemies most of the time they won't survive after CL's buff and Miles stand all. But even if they did end up survive, she can take care of that with this one. Hell. which deals very high fire damage, applies 5 burn, 2 hits to all enemies, not just one. So now that I explained all the abilities and pictos and everything, you can go back and pause the screen if you want to see what are all the pictos and skills that I'm using. Okay, now that it's out of the way, I'm gonna go bump into this guy and we'll see how it goes.
Hang on tight.
So now you saw CL died and exploded, applied burn to the enemies, applied cell and seal to allies, and then when they got cell from the pictors, they also got powerful applied and regen applied. So if you see the timeline, if you initiated the battle first, your team will be on the timeline next, not the enemy. But since we bumped into the enemy gets the turn next. In this case, I'm just gonna give Fortune's Fury double damage to Mael.
Show me what you can do. Here we go.
But if the enemy is not on the next turn, I'll mostly apply this one, Searing Burn. It does medium damage and applies 5 Fortel, and it also spread to all the burning targets since the enemy gets burned when CL applies on the death. But it's not for now, so I'm gonna give intervention and let Mael play immediately because I don't want the enemy on the timeline next. We need to kill this guy one shot. That's our goal. So this boss is also for a achievement. If anyone is looking how to kill this guy in one hit for the achievement, you can also look at this video. So now that we have with all the buffs that I explained before, we are sitting around 700 to 800% damage if the roulette lands on the 200 side. Okay, let's see. We have Witcher stance, we have all the buffs. I'm gonna use Standal and see how much it does. There you go. One shot, just like that. And if you look at the highest damage dealt, it's 225 million damage. And you also got the no damage 220% extra XP. So there you go. That's the build I'm using, and that's the damage output Mael does. Do keep in mind though, Stendhal got nerfed 40% on the first patch, so it was even more insane than this. So yeah, there you go. That's the damage. It only took us like a minute. It would have taken less because I was explaining the CL's abilities. There you go. That's my Suicide Squad build because CL dies. I hope this helps for you if you're looking to kill this guy in one shot and get the achievement. Thank you for watching.